Right, for the very latest, let's cross live to Kenya and join Arise East Africa correspondent Mark Bichachi to give us updates of the elections that's come to a close in Kenya. Of course, 22 million registered voters. How many did turn up to vote eventually? And how much of a tight race will this be between Raila Odinga, 77-year-old Raila Odinga, and 55-year-old William Ruto? Will it end in a runoff?
Well, the way things are looking, that it's first of all going to be a very tight race between Raila Odinga and William Ruto. The second thing is that the race is already looking very tight. From reports I'm seeing, there's only about 40,000 votes dividing between William Ruto and Raila Odinga. So yes, the race is tight, and we are hoping for the best, but the country is calm.
Mark, acceptance of election results on the African continent is a thorny issue. Are the candidates committed to accepting the outcome of this election?
Yes, they are. They're both committed. They've both signed a peace charter. They both signed that they will agree to the results. But this is not something new. They always sign these documents, and then we wait for the results. When the results come out, there's definitely going to be a petition. This has become sort of a Kenyan tradition here. So do we expect a petition? Yes, and the petition is more likely the tighter the election is.
Would you say that both contenders, I mean, this has been described as a two-horse race, come to this election with some level of baggage? Raila Odinga, he's run for the 5th time, most likely the last time. Recall that he became prime minister, after the December 2007 crisis that led to the deaths of over 1,000. How much will this really impact on the outcome of this election?
Well, it is seemingly Raila Odinga's last swing at this. The gentleman is quite aged, as you stated. He first got into politics in the 80s. He was detained several times, and of course, he started running for presidency in 1997. So in 2002, this is his 4th stab at the presidency. He's quite aged, so he does not have another bullet left in him, to use the old adage. But at the same time, William Ruto, this is the first time he's running for office. He still has a lot of steam in him, and the election is tight. So this will create a lot of expectation on the part of Raila Odinga's supporters who supported him for the last 3 decades, but also there is a very passionate support for William Ruto that is quite clear. So it is a do or die election, if I understood your question correctly.
After a decade in power, Uhuru Kenyatta is finally stepping down. And of course, we do understand that Raila Odinga has his support. But Mark, as someone who's been covering the region and the election, what is really at stake in this election?
Well, the president supporting Raila Odinga really came as a shock after the 2017 elections. In 2018, the president had a handshake with Raila Odinga, which ostensibly would have ensured that Raila Odinga got the support of the Mount Kenya bloc. But the burden of incumbency and the high cost of living has made it very difficult for Uhuru Kenyatta to transfer his support in the region towards Raila Odinga. Now, we are seeing some results that Raila Odinga is getting at least 20% of the vote, sometimes all the way up to 35% of the vote in central Kenya. Now, this has never happened for Raila Odinga before, in getting 35% of the vote. Of course, this is a huge chunk of the vote for him. And if he sustains getting any numbers above 30% in central Kenya, then his chances of becoming president become even higher. So, but it remains to be seen. It is still early days yet. We still have votes coming in, and the IEBC is yet to tally. But yes, the president's selection could actually affect this vote.
Bichachi, before we let you go, help us understand why Uhuru Kenyatta would, look past his vice president, William Ruto, to have that handshake, if you like, with Raila Odinga.
Well, Uhuru Kenyatta chose to work with Raila Odinga officially to say that he wanted to unite the country after Raila Odinga had declared himself president of the people. This, of course, created attention in the country, and yes, there was peace. The second reason, as he spoke to the nation 2-3 days ago, he said that the other reason was to keep William Ruto from practicing corruption over the government and to protect his legacy from those corrupt elements within his government who were under the gambit and auspices of William Ruto. So there are two sides to it: uniting the country and trying to stop the tide of corruption that was sweeping his government in the first regime. So that is the reason why the handshake had to happen.
Thank you for your insights. As always, Mark Bichachi, East African correspondent.